Okay, I think it's about time. I think everyone's joined so far. So, hello, my name is Bobby Boyd. I'm the Equity Program Manager for Michigan Sustainable Business Forum, and I'm pleased to welcome you to today's presentation of the Michigan Sustainable Business Forum's webinar series. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the forum is a collaboration of businesses and institutions working to promote practices that advance climate leadership, social justice, and the creation of a circular economy. We host events and programs throughout the state, including this monthly Michigan Sustainable Business Forum webinar series. This series is sponsored by Shupan with additional support from Foresight Management. So for our next event, West Michigan Sustainable Business Forum and Myers will be hosting Earth Month luncheon on Monday, April 10th at the Myers corporate offices in Walker, discussing sustainable agriculture in the Great Lakes region. More details about this event can be found on our website at MISB as in boy, F.org. Then in Southwest Michigan, please join us for our Great Green Gala on April 19th in St. Joseph, Michigan. This signature function is for local professionals, practitioners, and neighbors interested in sustainable business and sustainability in Southwest Michigan. We will be announcing this year's Southwest Michigan Sustainable Business of the Year and Sustainable Business Hall of Fame honorees tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. More details about these events can be found at our website as well, as I stated earlier, MISB as in boy, F.org. You will also find links in today's chat as well with more info about this and other events. Our next webinar will be Tuesday, May 16th at 10 a.m., where we will lead a discussion on sustainable transportation options and how getting out of our single occupancy vehicles can help us lower our carbon footprint. More information on this webinar will become available shortly, and a sign-up link will be available in the chat as well during this webinar. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our program for today: how BIPOC leaders are driving the creation of a circular economy in Michigan. For our attendees, please note that you can share thoughts and questions with our panelists or all attendees through the chat function. We will have time at the end of this presentation for open questions and answers. So to start now, introducing our panelists, I'd like to start by welcoming Vicki Lewis. She is the founder and CEO of VMX International, LLC. We have Maria Marin, who's a president, CEO, and founder of Unlimited Recycling Incorporated, and Louise Chen, founder and principal of Wormies Vermicompost. Thank you all for joining us today. So to get us started, could each of you please introduce yourselves and tell us about your organization?
Sure. So my name is Vicki Lewis. I'm the president and CEO of BMX International, and we are a transportation service company specializing in waste transportation and recycling across the United States. We started in 2001. So we're 22 years old, headquartered, like I said, in the city of Detroit. And right now, our sustainable program consists of single source management programs for our clients, net zero waste programs for them. And we are also working on our end-of-life lithium ion battery recycling center here in the state of Michigan.
Thank you. Maria.
I guess I'll go next. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this amazing webinar. My name is Maria Marin. I'm the CEO, president of Unlimited Recycling. My company started in 1999, and we are similar to VMX, we are a recycling, transportation, waste management company. We offer environmental solutions, so we assist the companies that we service with their sustainability goals by implementing recycling programs. We also lease and rent equipment to properly package the material, bale it, and then we transport it to recycling facilities. We We are located in Macomb County in Richmond, but we have 2 yards in the Detroit area in which we service. We also service other facilities out of state, so we are a national company as well. And our goal is to go global. And thank you for, it's an honor to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, Luis Chen. I'm the founder and owner of Wormies. Thanks, for having me here today. Wormies is a commercial composting company. We offer a hauling service, a pickup service and composting service of food waste, mostly food waste. Pickup service at the residential level and commercial. We are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and that's our service area for the composting service. And then the finished compost or soil that we make, we give a share back to our customers, and we donate another share to community gardens, and the rest we sell it to local farmers. So I started Wormies about in 2018. Everything was just with the idea of finding a healthy soil to support my plants, and everything grew naturally after that. So yeah, happy to be here and share.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for sharing a little bit about your businesses and how it all started. So, and I'm really excited about the discussion and grateful for the opportunity to work with you all today. So can you talk about what challenges you are or have experienced as an entrepreneur of color? And as a follow-up, have you seen any of these things getting better over the years? So Vicki, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
Thank you so much, Bobby. So some of the challenges that we faced, of course, it's capital, our accessibility to capital in our industry, and especially early on. It was always a challenge trying to figure out, do we use monies from our everyday working capital in order to secure equipment, because many clients would ask us, well, what type of equipment you have, or do you have a landfill? Do you own a landfill? Do you own a recycling facility? And those were questions that we were asked many, many times, but we started noticing that when we bid on opportunities, most of the time it was so that some of these companies could just have that number or be able to say that we have minority participation. And we found very early on that it was smarter for us not to get equipment because we weren't getting the opportunities. They weren't coming fast enough. And so we had to figure out how we could be in this marketplace and come up with a strategy and a niche business just for us so that we could thrive in that niche space. And be able to do that with the funds with our regular working capital. And capital still is a challenge out here for people of color. I think that it might be getting a little bit better right now if you're part of the emerging market, part of some of the changes and things like that that's happening. But traditionally for VMX, it has been a challenge with getting capital.
Perfect.
Was there a part two to that? I'm sorry,
No,
Bobby.
I was waiting for somebody to get off of mute. So.
Oh, okay. Go, Maria.
Honestly, I can kind of mirror a little bit of what Vicki is saying. Capital has been an issue, but honestly, for me, I've had several issues. Owning a recycling company early on, I didn't have any trucks, but one of the challenges that I really run into early on was educating the public on the reason and the need why they had to recycle fluorescent lamps, universal waste. And so I had to literally send our customers the fact sheet from the state of Michigan can convince these generators of why mercury fluorescent lamps had to be recycled and they could not longer go to the landfill. When I expanded my business into self-performing, when I started buying trucks, it was in 2008. Nobody was giving out loans. And I remember the bank telling me that I needed to put my house up for collateral. And, you know, being that I was purchasing equipment, I didn't see the need to put my house for collateral. The collateral was the truck. And so I found ways to you know, make that happen. But early on, you know, I had to use all my line of credits for my home, all my credit cards, max everything out and slowly pay it back. There were a lot of challenges. I didn't want to bring any investors at the time. But I think being a minority can be sometimes a blessing, and at the same time, it can be the opposite. It just depends on who you deal with at the time. But we welcome those challenges. That's what makes us a stronger company. We're ready to tackle on anything that comes our way. And one of the reasons why we have become so successful at what we do.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that, Maria.
Thank
So,
you.
Next question. So how are diverse companies and professionals bringing value to the state, local, and industry efforts to promote sustainable materials management? Luis, can we start with you this time?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I will say, you know, for me, making alliances with businesses, with BIPOC businesses, in an innovative way, you know, so all of us fulfill our mission. Just to give you an example, we have made a partnership with a corner store here in Grand Rapids. It's called the Southeast Market. With them, we are able to invite the community in that area to compost, to bring their food waste to the store. That brings traffic to the store, and that makes our collection more efficient. Now, the next piece in this puzzle is to donate the finished soil that we make with this food waste, donate it to the farmers, local farmers, suppliers to this store, you know? So we want to close the loop completely in that community, you know? So that's, you know, creating alliances that makes sense. So that is one of the things that I find that bring value, you know.
Thank you for sharing that, Luis. Anyone else? Maria, Vicky, anything to add?
I believe that we have to be in this industry. We need the diversion. We need, there are so many pieces of the puzzle when it comes to sustainability. There's so many companies that offer so many services. And I think that when you become creative as a company and you bring diversion, it adds value to the bottom sustainability goal. And if, for example, unlimited recycling, you know, we're a one-stop shop for all recycling and waste disposal needs. And I'm the one that collects the material. I'm the one that educates the public on how to manage the waste properly. But I need other companies that receives that material. So we are basically, like we talk about the closed loop. We all take a very small part in this industry, but it's so important. The work that we do is so valuable, more valuable than most people could even imagine. And I think we're in a good place. We've been doing this for a long time, and we know we haven't even started to crawl in the state when it comes to recycling. So there's a lot of work to do ahead of us, and we're excited for what's next.
And so for VMX, it's very similar to what Luis and Maria is doing. we often look at, because and I think that it's a mindset, because we are a minority company, and I already know that the expectations are higher. We take a look at the challenging materials that's out there and really work as a team to try to come up with some solutions to how to better manage the most challenging materials that's out there. Because we believe that if we bring that to the table for open discussion, and if we come up with some solutions on how to manage, for instance, plastics, well, within not just the automotive industry, but different sectors across the board, and bringing them together so that we can come up with a solution that makes sense, that's cost effective, and is not ate up by logistics, then that way we are truly contributing to the circular economy. Right now, when I first started in this industry, the automotive industry is doing one thing, and then you may have another sector of business doing another thing. We now have an opportunity to see what materials are being created by one industry, and then find out whether or not it can be reused or repurposed in another industry. Because the main goal for us is to see what we can do in order to contribute to circularity. So, and I think that we just have to be smart about that, and not just in the way that we manage our business, but in the value that we can bring to our clients.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for sharing. So the next question I have is, what are you finding from corporate and public programs to support inclusion and create opportunities for people of color? Maria, we're gonna start with you with this question.
One of the things that I've noticed, I think especially after COVID, is that the corporate world, they're realizing that they have a responsibility to be sustainable, but they also have a threshold that they have to meet, and that is to do business with minority-owned companies. And I believe that that's getting to be, there's more awareness of the value that minorities bring to the table. And there is some companies out there that are still a little bit hesitant. You know, they don't understand that we are, even though we are minorities, we have a lot of experience. And you know, especially for Luis and I, I'm from Nicaragua. Luis is from Costa Rica, I think. I'm sorry. Panama, that's it, Central America. And so when they see us, you know, they know we're from another country. And sometimes they wonder if we really know what we're doing. And sometimes they give us the business because we are minorities, but I don't want that kind of business. I want to go into a company and bring value to them. But I do see the awareness is out there, not just for us, but for other minority groups. And I think that this is the year where things are really blossoming for all minorities. And it's really great to see, because we need everyone that has something to give, no matter what their background is, what nationality, what color. If you have something wonderful that you can contribute to society, then it should be, you know, welcomed. But I am excited to see how many of our corporate customers have really opened their arms, and they see the value that we bring and how we can assist them in their sustainability goals.
Thank you for that, Maria.
I also, you know, the question is, what are you finding from corporate and public programs to support inclusion? And now that they have, you know, DEI-J programs, diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice programs, those have helped a lot. There's a lot of accelerator programs that are out there. And I think that what's really great about it is that it's contributing to us becoming superstars, because it gives us an opportunity, if nothing else, to train. It's teaching us more about finance. It's teaching us more about how to better manage our companies. And so these programs, while they may not end up in actual opportunities, what we're looking for, we want opportunities for some work. We want to be able to go out here and perform and generate revenue. Some of these programs, while they are good in the intention and in the education, which we all appreciate, we'd like to see more opportunities to actually get business from some of the accelerators, and some are really, really happening. There's tons of wonderful programs that's out there, and I salute the corporates for having these programs that spotlight the minority entrepreneurs, and also, they fund this higher level education and training when it comes to how to run your business. And I think that that's excellent. That's something that they had before, but there's an abundance of it now, which is great. And it shows that they are willing to put us in a position that helps reduce their risk if they choose us, because they know that they've educated us and they've trained us to their systems. And it also gives us exposure to their buyers and their buying system. So I think that that is great.
Perfect, perfect. Anything else to add to that, Luis, or?
Yeah, for sure. Same for me, being as a startup, my company is only 5 years. All the incubator programs really helped me, especially with credibility. You are entering a new industry. I
Right.
myself, I was new to my community. So by just having the platform of all these incubator programs, and I signed up for all of them.
Yes.
I pitch dozens of times. And yeah,
Yes.
like you said, that really helped me, talk about my company, think about my company, and then the opportunity to talk to people, and then you have the backup of all these organizations that kind of vouching for you, making and talking to new customers. So yeah, and then as soon as I participated in a few of these incubator programs, I got the opportunity to pitch for funding,
Yeah.
So locally here in Grand Rapids, there is something called Start Garden. That really, I won one of those competitions, and it really started things for me after that competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
perfect. Thank you so much all for sharing as well. And I mean, that's great news for future individuals that want to be in this space as well. So,
Yes.
so for my next question, I want to know, how do we engage communities to raise awareness of the importance of recycling? And I know, Maria, you spent a lot of time giving a lot of thought into this one. So let's start with you on that aspect.
Well, I think education is the number one key to a successful awareness, especially with any community, the business community, the local community. I remember setting up a recycling program at my local school. We do videos. We try to educate our customers as much as we can. I belong to organizations, volunteering. I talk about sustainability and recycling everywhere I go. And just getting involved with community, I think is very important. And like I said, education is the key to engaging and being aware, make people aware of, because I remember, I started my company in '99, and like I said, it was a struggle back then. Well, why do I have to recycle? Well, now is what's your price and what is your service? So from then to now, and I see the change, and it's very encouraging. But again, I think that we are so new and recycling in the state of Michigan. I believe our next cycle, we hope that by the year 2050, we reach 45% recycling goal. I think that that's way low. We need to increase those goals. I think we should aim for higher. I mean, we should do 75, 80%, and not by the year 2050, maybe by the year 2030. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we have our boots on the ground every single day making this happen. So when a potential customer calls, the first thing we do is educate them. And it's amazing how many people want to be educated and they want to know, how do I recycle? And here we are to do that for them. So we're in a great space.
Perfect, perfect. Anyone else have anything to share with that?
Yeah, so when we talk about the circularity of all this, right? So I always think about that circle and I think, okay, I'm talking to someone, I'm in a community or I'm with a customer, and I think about, okay, how do I place this organization or this individual into that circularity so we continue work efficiently. So I think, one of the ways is, by providing access to, or in my case, composting. Composting right now is a privilege. It costs money, it's expensive. So how do I provide opportunities for everyone, or how do I provide access through partnerships for communities that may not have the privilege to compost or to use a soil that's healthy?
I like that. And I especially like what Maria was saying. And I think also the awareness and the importance of recycling. I think that if we as a people, and especially for the constituents that make the rules and regulations, if they kind of make them easier for the community, because to recycle plastic is challenging. When you look at all the levels and the different types of plastic for at home, the water bottle versus the milk bottle versus the Tide bottle, and you look at the codes, it is challenging. And what happens is people get frustrated and they say, oh, I'm just going to throw it away. I think that also when it comes to batteries, we say recycle batteries. And so if they have a small battery, they'll put it in the recycle bin and it does not belong there. And so I think that we need to come together and, meet to come up with a way to make recycling in the community easier to understand. I think that we need to have a way. Education is very, very important, like Maria said. But I think in the schools, I think that the children, when we reach them, they bring home the importance of recycling. And I think that if we had a stronger goal of educating the young ones and teaching them from very, very young, that they'll take all of that home and they'll say, you know what, I learned in school, no, we can't do, we're supposed to put this in the recycle bin. And I have to share this. When it comes to recycling, I grew up, and I know a lot of my people in my community, I grew up, every trash can had to have a liner. And so when we first started recycling, my husband would put a plastic bag liner in the recycling container. And I didn't realize it until one day I saw him putting the recycling into the recycled dumpster. And I said, it can't be in a bag. You contaminate the whole road. It cannot be in plastic bags. So it's simple little things like that that's going to get us to that goal of 45%. When we educate the community and they understand, and then when they see people that look like us, that look like Maria, look like Luis, in the roles that we have, it's difficult for us to get community-related work, paid work, where we're out here and they can see us. This is the work that we do. They see we won this contract. We're the ones that's recycling. You're at your neighborhood stores and at your neighborhood dry cleaners. And it's us. And so I think that we can make a difference there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, you all. Next question. The next one I want to ask, what do you feel needs to happen for Michigan to advance materials management? And the second part of that question is, what is missing for organizations like yours and the communities you serve to be able to achieve those goals? Vicki, let's start with you.
So to advance, your question was, what do we need to do to advance the
materials management?
Materials management. I think that, like I had mentioned before, I think that we need to work better together as a goal to take materials that we ordinarily use, and if whatever it is that we're throwing away, to find another use for that. I'll give you a perfect example. In the construction industry. In the construction industry, I'm working with the construction industry in a different type of way. Whatever it is that is unused, that's new, we're finding alternatives for those leftover materials through the schools. The schools here in the city of Detroit, most of them don't have a shop class. I grew up, there was shop and home economics. And that left a long time ago. And I think because of funding. And so I found resources where we can teach how to repair homes, your home, not other people's homes, but your home with leftover wood, leftover drywall, leftover air ducts from construction sites. And that eliminates that waste from going to the landfill. So I think that if we're more verbal about what it is that we're throwing away for the corporates and how we might be able to use it, not just even with another industry, but within the communities, I think that that's important.
Perfect. Anyone else have anything now to add to that?
I just wanted to add what Vicky was saying about construction. About 12 years ago, I had the opportunity to do a LEED project. Its LEED is for Leading Energy Efficient Design for the Army. And so I started really looking at the material that was being generated in the construction world. And because I started with recycling first, and then I added the roll-off division in 2008, I started seeing all this material that was metal, drywall, wood, cardboard, paper, some plastics that could be recycled. It was all being thrown in one dumpster. So I created this program to separate all that. And I remember 12 years ago thinking, when is the world going to catch up with this issue? We have a problem. And it's just amazing that even now, 2023, and we're still having tons of construction projects out there in which all the material is going only one container to the landfill. So we're not recuperating all this valuable resource that we have. And I think that we just need, again, we need awareness. We need, I hate to bring in politics, but I think we need the state of Michigan to get more involved in encouraging the generators of this material to be more responsible, to be held accountable, because, you know, we only have one planet and we can't be reproducing steel and cardboard and cutting more trees down. I mean, we can talk about deforestation all day long. And we just need to recoup these valuable materials that right now are going in the landfill. Now, nobody wants to live near the landfill, you know, and we have to do something, and we have to do it right now, not tomorrow. I mean, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, but, you know, because it's impossible, but we need to do it very soon. We need to think about all this. You know, the state needs to get more involved. I can't face, hopefully someone from the state of Michigan is listening to this. We need your help. We're out here with the boots on the ground every single day seeing these issues, and we can't do this alone. It takes a community to make this happen, for this change to take place.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah,
so much.
I'll say that materials management, yeah, education for sure. And I think Eagle is doing an amazing work the past, I don't know, couple of years. I've noticed great work here in, at least in here in my community. But yeah, the task is huge. Education at all levels. Then in the case of the composting industry, I would say start with increasing composting infrastructure. Massive, like we need way more. And then that being followed by higher landfill tipping fees, because right now the companies are not incentivized to do the right thing. It just doesn't make sense for them. So yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for that insight. So I'll make this our last question before we go into a Q&A with some of our individuals on the call. But what are you most excited about right now? I know, Luis, you've had some good news recently, so let's start with you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so Wormis was awarded an Eagle infrastructure grant to scale operations. Thank you. So yeah, we have been in the process of expanding to a new site, 14 acres. There have been some challenges, of
Acres.
course. Huh?
No, I said 14 acres, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there have been some challenges with this move because there isn't there was not an ordinance for a commercial composting operation of our size. So our size is small or medium. Commercial composting operations are usually huge, millions of dollars. So we have this opportunity in this township. And initially, all of the board members of the township, they said, no, we cannot have this here, impossible. And I said, okay, just give me a chance to tell you what I want to do here. So I prepared a presentation. I told them my size and I compared my operation to a commercial operation. And after that, they said, okay, let's do it. You know, all of them unanimously said, okay, let's do this together. They put together an ordinance with the help of Eagle. And now, you know, I have a roadmap or a path to follow, some rules. But that took some time, you know, and thankfully I had the support of Eagle to help me, you know, with the township and the grant. But yeah, that was huge because now, you know, other commercial composters probably have an ordinance to mirror in this area. And yeah, we should be up and running, say within a couple months.
Congrats. Congrats, Luis.
Congratulations, Luis. Well deserved.
Thanks.
Anyone else have some exciting news they want to share or something they're most excited about right now? Vicky or Maria?
Well, I am very excited where unlimited recycling and the direction in which we are going. I have seen a lot of excitement from a lot of automotive plants here locally and nationally that really they see the need to recycle their material. They want to be sustainable. They want to divert as much material as they can from going into the landfill. And we went into a company, as a matter of fact, this one of the largest companies that here locally and actually worldwide, they have 250,000 employees. And when we did a walkthrough of that facility, we found probably 15 different types of plastics, talking about plastics, Vicky, that need to be recycled. And we did the audit. We literally went picking through the garbage can and looking at every plastic that they generate. And so we're seeing these companies that really, really have the desire to be sustainable. And I'm very excited about that we're here able to help them do so. So I wanted to share that. And also lead disposal management is starting to grow. We're trying to promote that more. Because I see all that material that's just being wasted go into the landfill. So we're excited about all the positive changes in the direction in which we're going.
Yeah, perfect.
I agree with you, Maria. Right now with most corporations trying to reach 2030 or 2050 goals to net zero, it's a really good time to be in the business that we're in. Finally, there's a strong recognition of the importance of repurposing and reusing materials, and moving that banner down when it comes to recycling, moving that down and really looking at what we can do to be more sustainable by adding to circularity. I think that it's an exciting time with the emerging market of the electric vehicles and all the opportunities that's out there for everybody. You know, this is a good time to create businesses. This is a good time to be creative with automotive companies, mobility companies, that any type of energy company, solar. This is really just a really good time. I used to say, I wish I was born a long time ago so that I can invent something. Well, this is a good time to invent something that's going to help us to save the planet. So I'm excited about the period of time that we're in right now and all the possibilities that it's bringing.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you all. So I want to thank you, Louise, Vicky, and Maria, for sharing your amazing experiences and knowledge. We'd like to open it up now for questions, so which you can now submit via the chat or the question to answer function in Zoom as well. Let's see what questions we have. We have any as of right now. So there's one question I saw in the chat that said, what can we ask our Michigan legislature to increase recycling and composting in our state? This question from Mark Andreas.
There are some communities, especially in the Detroit area, there are some groups that is working together to come up with, you know, procedures for the construction industry and to come up with procedures for businesses when it comes to recycling. I know here in the city of Detroit, there are a couple of really strong groups that's working to kind of advocate for that. I've contributed some ideas. One of the things for me, I just think that recycling for small businesses, especially here in the city of Detroit, there is a cost that's associated with it. I'd like to see that cost go away so that we can encourage small businesses to recycle. Many times, even regardless of how much that money is, it's coming off the bottom line and it's challenging. Before the small barbershop and beauty shop and the shoe shops and things like that, they generate a lot of their own type of waste. And if we had a way to encourage them to recycle, I think that would help out a lot.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, and then if that has been tried before, the incentive, maybe it's time to penalize, you know. I have found a lot of manufacturers of food just already allocating millions of dollars to food waste, you know, before, you know, they start production. They have an allocated amount that is gonna be waste. And this is not being recycled. This is going to the landfill, straight to the landfill, because it doesn't make sense for them to pay millions of dollars to composting, you know. It just doesn't, and because it's expensive for a company that large to choose composting when they can landfill, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, one of the problems that we have in the state of Michigan is that the landfill cost per ton is extremely low. And the other issue is, you know, we're receiving all the trash from Canada. So they're paying very low rates. For us as trash haulers, we pay more than Canada does. But, you know, composting, the mindset that a lot of people have is, well, why should I recycle or compost when I can just take it to the landfill? But that mindset needs to change. And it's not just the government, but it's really the community. We need to be more proactive when it comes to making those decisions and setting our budgets for our waste.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That's great insight. So we have another question here. I see it just popped up from Gabriela Gonzalez. What initiatives or practices can we bring from other communities, including other countries, that are more advanced, bringing solutions to these issues?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Poland in about 2 weeks, and I have been traveling to Europe, and I'm the one that stays up until 2 in the morning to see how they pick up their trash and their waste. And it's a way, to them, it's a way of life. It's just part of their culture of what, you know, who they are. And I think we have a lot to learn. Why reinvent the wheel? I know that other states here in the United States, Oregon, New York, other states have implemented organic recycling initiatives, and they have banned from that material going to the landfill. And honestly, in my experience in this business, the only way that people are going to do it, they either incentivize or it's regulated. It's either one or the other. And we need to regulate the proper disposal of organic waste. In the state of Michigan, it's about 40%, I believe. Maybe it's higher. It goes up and down. But that's a lot of percentage of waste that could be turned into beautiful soil to grow better food for us. And we just need to start thinking about the mindset. We lived in a world where we have the internet at our fingertips. We can communicate with anyone in the world just the same way we are now. And so we have a lot to learn, but we need to, I go there and I learn and I bring things back here, and then I teach my customers. Like I switch some things that are very simple just with education, and it seemed to work. I actually put it to a test and it worked. And now I'm implementing that with my company. So it's really up to each and one of us to make that happen. You know, it starts at home, at school. We need to teach children at school, like Vicky says, to so they can go home and tell their parents, you can't throw that into trash, that should be recycled. Communities, townships, cities need to provide that service. We get tons of calls from communities asking, I want to recycle my batteries. And all those batteries are going in the trash. We're providing other services, but we're not providing things that really need to be provided in our community. And somebody needs to make that change. And it starts with each and every one of us.
And I think that right now with, on a global standpoint, I think with the ESG program, environmental and social and governance programs, and other programs like SASB, Sustainability Accounting Standards, these are global standards now that companies have to record. Instead of just sending your gondola of recyclables to the landfill or to the recycling facility, you're now responsible for having to have to count and give information on what's the final disposition of this material, because globally, everyone is trying to reduce that carbon footprint. And so because now that has been implemented and companies are working on those same like goals, we're going to start seeing the consistency of recycling all across the nation and then globally. Then once these numbers are put into these databases, and that's what they're using for certifications, and once we start seeing that populated, we will start seeing a change. And so, like Maria said, we have to educate them about SASB. We have to educate them about ESG programs so that they can get on board and start reporting scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions, so that we all can come up with some standards when it comes to recycling, repurposing, reusing.
So quick one here. So yeah, like Maria said, no need to reinvent the wheel. There are plenty of wheels already. We just need to tweak them, adapt them. But we also want to keep people excited and be innovative. So we have to incentivize, our own team, our own community. The government has to help with this incentive to keep people engaged into creating. Recently we were approached by a winery, and they said, can you help us creating a vermi filtration system? They wanted to filtrate all their wastewater with worms. And everyone in my team was like, oh, but we have never done anything like that. How are we gonna do that? So you just go on Google and everything is there.
It's right there.
So we
That's
said,
that Internet of Things. That's that right there. That is the creation and invention of new things that we can do.
And I say, okay, let's just study this thing and let's put together a proposal. We put the proposal together 6 months ago. And 2 days ago, the winery just emailed me. They said, okay, because they were applying for a grant to do this project. They say, we got the grant. I say, wow, oh my God.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's amazing because it's a system that's gonna filtrate the pulp and the water. So the organic matter is not gonna contaminate the soil or the water of the city and all that, you know.
Way to
So it's
go, Luis. That's awesome.
yeah, it's huge. And like I said, we are not, this is not something that we are creating. This is not our idea, but you just have to bring it in, you know.
Yes.
Perfect.
And that's one of the things that we love about this business is all the opportunities that come up, and really the customer is the driving force of what we do. They're the ones that call and say, I have this material, how do I handle this? You know, we need to have those recycling numbers, and we need to divert this, can you help? And then we get creative, we get to work, and we find a way, you know, and that's what's so exciting about what we do.
So, well, thank you all for sharing. So I have one more question here before we end this. So it's from Kimberly Red. They wrote, how do you recycle batteries?
Ooh.
Well, well, how do we recycle batteries? Vicky, I know that you are, I will let you take this one. This is yours. This is your baby.
And so there are different types of processes for recycling batteries. And so if we're going to be talking about lithium ion batteries, which is what's happening right now in the future, lithium ion batteries are recycled by shredding the batteries. And then once the batteries are shredded to a black mass type material that contains all of the minerals, all of those important minerals that we're trying to capture for new batteries. And so that would be like cobalt and lithium and nickel. And then once that is captured within the black mass, then there is a process. It's either a polyhydromatic process or burning process or a chemical process that will get those chemicals, and then those can go back into making batteries.
Quite a process, huh?
And it's the same process for small batteries or for large batteries,
really?
not alkaline batteries, lithium ion batteries.
Lithium ions, okay. Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, so
And then, and if the question had to do with, not to cut you off, Bobby, if the
Yeah.
question had to do with what to do with your batteries at home, there are battery exchange places like at Staples and Home Depot. Call to Recycle is a company that picks up those containers that you see at these big box stores.
Mhm.
Go to any Sam's Club, wherever it is that you purchase batteries. Many companies already have a box almost right at the door when you bring it in, but just please make sure that you tape the ends of your batteries before you put them into the containers. Tape the ends of your batteries before you drop them into the containers. That will help us not have these fires that we're experiencing.
I just want to add to that. I encourage everyone. I remember when I started my business years and years ago, people call our office, I want to recycle my batteries. What do I do with fluorescent lamps? One of the things that I encourage every city is to have a household hazardous waste event for the community. So the community can collect the batteries and all their paint, spray paint, you know, aerosol cans, although now that's part of, it's a universal waste, so it can be recycled. But we need to offer those services to our community because those communities may not have access to go to Staples, like you said. I know that Staples, they recycle electronics too. I take my toners there. But there are very little resources for the community, and it really should be up to each individual city or township to provide these for their the residents. We had them before COVID. Some cities had it, then they dropped the program, but we need to get that back on the
You're
map.
absolutely right. I agree 1,000%. When you have Household Hazardous Waste Day and a recycling day, we definitely need to bring that back. Thanks, Maria.
Oh, thank you.
So once again, I want to thank you all for joining us today. And
Thanks for
I'm very
having
grateful
us.
Thank
for
you.
offering your insight and knowledge and expertise in this matter. So for everyone
Thank
else
you,
that's on the webinar as well, If you have any follow-up questions, we'd be happy to connect you to our speakers here. We will be following up with an email with the recording and the presentation and contact information to our panelists as well. And you can have, if you have any additional questions, you can reply to that email that we'll be sending out within the next couple of days here. Once again, I want to thank you all for attending. And if you found today's talk valuable, please consider becoming a member and checking out our website for any of our upcoming webinars as well and other opportunities at misb.org. Once again, I want to thank you all, and I hope you all have a good rest of your week and weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Bobby.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you, everyone. Now, don't forget to recycle, reduce, and reuse, please. Let's remember that. Hasta luego.